cricket is front and centre today as the SA Under-19 team look to beat one of the favourites in the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, and that is India. Also, the SA20 is at the business end of the tournament, with the coastal sides doing really well. To talk all things cricket, we've roped in a man who has played at every level of the game. It is former Proteas spinner Aaron Phangiso. Good morning, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports on Morning Live.
Good morning to you and your team and the viewers. How are you guys?
We're very well, thank you. Aaron, let's start and speak about the Under-19 Cricket World Cup. Talk to me about the importance as a player of displaying your capabilities at a tournament of this nature and what it can do for you, because we know the likes of Virat Kohli, Kagiso Rabada, Aiden Markram, they were able to display their worth at a tournament of this nature. And look where they are now, global stars.
Yeah, look, Under-19 is very important. It's a stepping stone. You make your SA Under-19s or you play in your World Cups, it opened doors for a lot of guys. I myself have played there. You mentioned a couple of names. And I know that most of the Protea guys that were in my team, I think 90% of the team, we were all in that SA Under-19 squad together. So for a youngster to come out, I see on the screen, you've got Kwena there, to come out and show off what you can do in that big stage. It really gives you an opportunity to have it, to be looked at, and for franchises to actually give you an opportunity to showcase your talents.
You touch on Kwena Maphaka. Now let's go a little bit deeper, because we've seen the talent that this youngster has, and a lot of people have been talking about how impressed they are with his performance. Do you have some standout players that you've seen during this Under-19 World Cup that stand out for you? And overall, what do you make of the team's performance so far?
Yeah, the team has been doing well in general. As you said, they've got an opportunity to beat India. To be honest, I haven't been following a lot. I've been a fan of Kwena, and he's done very well in this tournament. As you said, we participating in our own tournament that's going on, SA20. So it's a day-to-day thing. We don't get a lot of time to actually focus on a lot of things. You know what I mean? But we do follow. But I'm not going to say that I've been following really in depth to say who is who. But then I just know the results have been good for the Under-19 boys, the South African Under-19 boys.
And speaking of the results, how do you see them faring today when they go up against India? Do you think it'll be a positive result for South Africa?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a positive result. The big players of the team obviously need to stand up. India has always been a very good Under-19 team, very competitive. So we just need the big boys to stand up, and then hopefully we get through the line.
Indeed, we are, of course, all crossing fingers for them as they take on India today at 10 a.m. Let's talk about the SA20, because this is another competition currently underway, coming to the business end. And we see out of the top 4 at the moment, 3 of those teams are coastal teams. What would you say those teams have done to excel in this edition of the SA20?
Yeah, to be honest, all the teams have played well. You look at the Sunrisers. They were the finalists last year. They won the tournament. Durban. They've signed some really good players. There's a guy from Afghanistan, Noor. He's done a massive difference for the guys. And obviously the Royals, they've always competed. You just needed, obviously, they've got their big names coming through and giving good performances in your backless and all of them. So they've just put on good performances when needed, And like I said, specific individuals, I think they stood up in the competition. As I mentioned, Noor, a couple of guys from the Sunrisers also put their hands up. So that's all it needs. It just needs, I think, a couple of people when it matters to put up our hands. And I mean, you just saw with us, when it mattered the most, the last game we played, your Faf put up his hand, a couple of guys came through, your Donovan there at the end, and guys just chipped in. And that's what the game is about. When it matters, big guys need to put up their hands.
And from your point of view, Aaron, how important is it to have a premium T20 competition in the country? Do you think this adds to the quality that we end up having and the selection of the coaches looking at the national Proteas senior team?
Yeah, no, to have a competition like this is massive. For players to be competing with your your overseas players and being in the same change room with them. I mean, I just mentioned a couple of guys. I mentioned your Bucklers. I mean, some of us are lucky to be in the same change room with your Imran Tahirs and all of them, so it just gives guys that extra confidence, performance-wise to say, look, I can compete with the best in the world, and I'm in the same stage. And, when you put those performances, it really goes a long way. Not a lot of guys obviously have an opportunity to play international cricket. So when a chance like this, when a tournament like this happens in our shores, it means a lot for players. I mean, it's very well organized. The standard is high. The players that take place in this competition, like I said, the best in the world. You've got Pollard right there with you, your best hitters in the world. So to play against people like that, it really gives one confidence if you haven't tasted international cricket.
Other than giving the confidence, would you say that it helps us increase in terms of the quality of play of the players that are involved moving forward post-tournament?
Yeah, look, the players will always come through when you're playing against the best of the best. You see your guys like your Breskis, come through, and like I say, performing on this stage, it means it means a lot. And then that's when you perform against high quality players like we perform against, your national coaches will have to look at you. So it's a good platform. It's a good tournament for guys to put up their hands so that they get national recognition from the coaches, and for the public to say, look, these youngsters are actually quality players. Because let's be honest, a lot of franchise cricket or viewership towards franchise cricket, it hasn't been as great as what the SA20 has given. So it gives the public sort of a different eye to players that are really putting up their hands in this big scale.
Absolutely. Aaron, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you're rushing off to work at 9 a.m. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to see how this tournament is going to wrap up.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.